and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining. Um, for those of you who are unaware, my name is Radia. For those of you who are not, um, I'm trying not to say the words we're not supposed to be saying. If we are not connected, I do ask kindly for your connection. Um, so just so everybody knows, I'm on many platforms. I'm on Clubhouse. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. And ooh, I left off. Oh shoot. Oh well. I wanted to be on Instagram, but Qadar Mashafa didn't make it today. Anywho, welcome. Thank you so much for joining once again. And for those of you who just, I'll say this, throughout, but for those of you that are not familiar with the app Clubhouse, I usually allow the women, the sisters that are there, to speak. That is my preferred mode of allowing or method app that I prefer to allow anyone who wants to be vocal, any sisters that want to be vocal, to do so from there. So the house is taking care of five before five. Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. Got to be careful with my words here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. So I'll go ahead and begin. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalam rasulullah. For those of you who are unfamiliar, today is Muslim Women Wednesday. And what Muslim Women Wednesday is and why we have it is this was something that was introduced to me and other sisters long time ago inside of Clubhouse by none other than Hanif J. Williams, Hafidahullah. And we did such good work in there. It was very therapeutic for those of us who participated. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. That we decided to continue it, even though we are no longer using the Muslim but Human house. Since Allah had blessed me with my own house, I said, why not continue the work here? And so we've been doing that now well over 2 years, year and a half, 2 years specifically as it relates to Muslim Women Wednesday. But we've been on the app for going on 4 years now. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And, I decided, because I'm being more intentional with the work that I do, as far as going live, that I would just go live across all platforms. And this way I don't have to download from one app and upload to all of the others. That was killing me. This is the one woman show over here. Qadar Allah Mashafat. And just how you are informed of what we do. We have been usually we use a prompt of some sort. In this case, it has to be audio because we don't have the ability to show the video, because it is a video. And just excuse me 1 second. I have to block some ignorance here. So just some ground rules for those of you who are not familiar with who I am, how I am. I tolerate no ignorance, none, no disrespect to myself, to anyone that's here, to Allah, to our way of life. Zero tolerance for it. Rather than address you because that's what you want a reaction from me, I choose to block you. Okay, so let me just set that record straight. So with regards to what I was saying about Muslim Women Wednesday, this is a time in which we as Muslims had been, we would come together to celebrate one another, to uplift one another, to advise one another when needed, to admonish one another when needed. And so today is no different. And so we talk about what topics, pertain to us that, we may or may not know anything about. And so, I just, or we may have even discussed it before, but there might be another angle to the discussion. And so men are allowed in this space, but if they have anything that they want to ask, say, or suggest, it has to be from the confinements of using the chat feature. Whether you all choose to do that on any of these other platforms that you're currently on, or you decide to come inside of Clubhouse. But again, I do invite all sisters, all women to come inside of Clubhouse, if they care to be vocal about the clip that I'm getting ready to share with you all. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and share that because I don't have a lot of time, and maybe some of you all are on lunch break anyway. So I want to get to that. Bismillah. Make sure the volume is up.
I've been praying for my son's wife since they were little. Like I have journal entries from when they were 3, 4. Lord, wherever his wife is, if she's probably born by now, 6, 7, she's probably here. So Lord, give her parents wisdom. Would you help her to put a hedge of protection around her? Father, prepare her mind and heart for my son and my son for her. Like I've been praying for her. So when she arrives, I'm hoping I recognize her.
Wow.
Right? Because she's been on my mind. And I'm hoping that there is a supernatural tethering of our souls that I can't create. And I'm already praying that the Lord would soften my heart to make space and to fall back in the way my mother-in-law did. So me and Jerry could be me and Jerry.
Yeah.
But it is a matter of prayer, because that prickliness you're describing, that feeling of like, oh, she gonna be in my space. She gonna be all up on my son. She don't even know him like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm hoping, and I said this to my niece who just got married. I said that to me, one of the biggest gifts you can give to your new mother-in-law is not in manufactured ways, but when there are natural ways for you to show that you do not either know the dynamic of marriage or of her son like she does. Meaning, if he's maybe sad or something, ask her, how do you deal with when he's sad? Is there anything I could do to cheer him? What is his favorite food? Can you show me how to make it? That will endear your heart to her, because it shows that you respect the fact that she has given her whole life to this kid and knows him better than you do. So when you come in with that arrogance, like I got it, you just got here. You just met him a year ago. Y'all just started marriage. You don't know nothing. Right. So I'm hoping there's a sweetness to this young woman, and that she would recognize, I actually can help you.
Yeah.
I'm not against you. I'm with you. So what do you want to know about Jackson, about JC, about Jude?
That's good.
I think that will help the process some, but I am praying that my heart will be tenderized and prepared for.
All right. So there are already sisters that are here inside of Clubhouse. You are welcome to join me on stage. Just raise your hand and I will bring you up. I would love to know what your thoughts are about the clip. Feel free to share. Anyone else? I see others that are chiming in from, I don't know where. Oh, I think this person is on Facebook. And we've got plenty of you all that are here on TikTok. What are your thoughts about the clip for those of you that got to hear it from the beginning? So the wonderful thing, and I will say, like I said, much of what I use is a prompt. It does not mean, I'm making a disclaimer, that we believe everything that is being said. It's just to start the conversation. That's it. Okay. So, but I love how she talks about, how for her it began with prayer. And we know as Muslims, everything for us begins with prayer. So when we have our children, when Allah blesses us with children, if we hadn't already made this dua in regards to our offspring, or maybe we didn't know to make it, at the time of marriage or even before marriage, because it starts with the finding of the right spouse, because what we know from our deen, be careful of whom you marry, where you plant your seed. Otherwise, there will be corruption on the earth. And that is true. That is very much true. And so, with that, we want to make sure, firstly, that we're obedient to Allah with the first command that He told us, and that is what? To not go near zina, not to commit it. He said, don't even go near it. So that means if you don't go near it, you can't commit it. Okay. So that's the actual command, not don't fornicate. No, the command is don't go near it. And so what does, for those of you who don't know what that means that you have zina, yes, fornication. That means that you have a wali, a wakil, right? That is someone, a male representative that is Muslim. Okay, he is Muslim. He is of sound knowledge. He's an older. He doesn't have to be, like a grandfather kind of old, but an older brother, uncle, father-in-law. But it has to be blood, so not father-in-law, but a nephew, that is beyond the age of 15. He's got some experience with what it's like to be married, that he may even be married. This cannot be, I'm sorry, your 15-year-old son, because he has no life experience. And why do I say that? Because a lot of sisters will use or brothers will encourage the sister to use her 15-year-old son. Oh, he's good enough. He's your mahram. He's good enough to be the wali. No, he's not. He has not experienced life. And what I mean by that is men know men. And so if he has no knowledge of street, how men can run games on not only their mother, but on them as well, because they're young, because they have no experience. No. So, he could be a part of what we call the team of walis, but not the actual wali. So you need someone who is older in the community that has had experience, good experience, because we know there are serial marriers, right? No, we want someone who has experience with somewhat of experience with good longevity of marriage. This is something that I have, introduced into our conversation. And why I say that, because, I said marriage, but we know, because the goal for us is marriage. We don't have several girlfriends and this kind of thing, right? So because it's better to marry than to have girlfriends. So maybe he's been married a few times, but that's fine. As long as it's been a good marriage, it would be a good example for you in going into the space of marriage, inshallah, bidnillah. And so and someone that knows his roles, rights, and responsibilities to you, in regards to him being responsible for you, not just to make sure you have a good husband, but for whatever your needs are prior to that, and even after getting married, to make sure that the marriage is good, right? That you all as a couple are good, that you yourself are good, but that the brother ain't putting his hands on you, he's not disrespectful of you, all of these kinds of things, right? So that's why he cannot be your 15-year-old your 15-year-old son. Okay, like I said, he can be a part of it because he needs the training. He needs manhood training. He needs imam training. He needs wali training. So he could be a part of it. And as far as for those of us who weren't born and raised in Islam, and maybe we have brothers, we have uncles, we have our father, we have our grandfather, right? Yes, they could be a part of that team. But none of those men, as long as they are not Muslim, are responsible for you. They won't be the ones standing before Allah in regards to seeing after your affairs. So it has to be a Muslim, but they can be a part of, of it, because obviously they know you better. They've known you from when you came into this world up until now. And so they have some love for you, some concern, and, and they know you better than anybody. Right. So it would behoove the brothers to get to know the menfolk of your family and vice versa. Right. And so we're doing that. We're also knowing that in regards to the way in which you can go about getting to know this particular brother or sister, is that Wali has to be there at all times. All times. That means on the phone. That means FaceTime. That means texting. That means email. All forms of communication. We can't be slick about this. We can't be like the Yahud. And I'm going to leave it at Yahud. Some of you all know what Yahud means. Some of you don't. And I'm just going to leave it at that. You can look it up. But don't be like the Yahud when Allah instructed them to observe the Sabbath. And, so they wouldn't be guilty of, quote unquote, of working on the Sabbath. They put out their nets. They were fishermen. They put out their nets the day before. And as to say that we did not disobey you, we didn't do any work, but they did. Okay. So anywho, we don't want that. We can't trick Allah. He knows, So, we're making sure that our wali is involved from the door all the way through, that we're not doing what some of you sisters do. You'll meet a brother and you want to check him out first. And some of you brothers are lazy too. Because how many of sisters have I had told that it could, some will even ask me, should I go ahead and let my father meet this brother that I'm thinking of marrying? I think he should have been met him. Should have been met him. And she said, well, he's not like that. He wants me to check him out first. And then if I like him, then he'll, pick up this, from there. No, that's not how we do it. That's backwards. That's not the sunnah. We don't go backwards. We have a blueprint. And the blueprint is that he has to do the vetting. He has to find out who this brother is, how he is, who he is with his family, especially the women folk, right? Do the family members have good things to say about him? And then, I always talk about, what Allah says of how we're supposed to know one another, and that, and what we're supposed to do is find the way in which we're supposed to get to know each other. Obviously, as the person who lives with them knows them the best, right? So you want to find out who has lived with him at any point in time, obviously closer to now, like within the last 5 years, not 20 years ago, because there could have been a lot of changes within that person during that time. We want something as, very recent, the last 1 to 5 years, let's say. Someone who's done business with him, again, between the first and last 5 years. Someone who's traveled with him within the last 5 years. You want at least one person from each of those categories. And you might want to add a fourth one. The fourth one is someone who's eaten with him, So these are the people who would know him the best. And for you brothers, this is the same for you. You want to know how this sister is, with her family, her menfolk, you want to know how she is, if she's done business before, how she is, her business practices, her character, all things as it relates to her character. It goes both ways. But the only reason I said, I'm talking mostly to the sisters is it's Muslim Women Wednesday. So it's about the sisters today. Okay. So we got to make sure all of that, when it comes time to, we're ready to get married. But what are we doing even before that? We're making dua, right? We're making dua. Even if we come across someone or someone mentions someone to us, we are making istikhara, right? Before we have any communication. And I'm encouraging you sisters, because whether you want to admit this or not, we fall in love with what we hear. We fall in love with potential instead of what's real. Okay. And so because of that, that's a weakness. That's considered a weakness. This is why our walis are good to have. Right. So rather than speaking to the person, because some of you all may have a thing for, oh my God, his voice is so nice. If the brother can sing, if he can recite, oh my God, that just makes it even worse. So because that can be a weakness for you, and men know this, it would behoove you to have your male representation speak to him first. Until he has been completely vetted, that you don't have any conversations with him, even if the wali is there. That's just me. Maybe I'm extreme, but I know my weaknesses. So I'm not even going to put myself, unless it don't go near Zena, I'm not going to go. I'm not, no, bruh. The brother wants us to have lunch today. He's going to treat us, let's go. No, bruh. Have you done a criminal background check? Have you done a mental health check? Have you found somebody he's done business with? Someone he's lived with? Someone he's traveled with? Someone he ate with? Right? Have you done this first? I need to know that. And then, after if all that, is a go. So I'm gonna want to know, are we compatible? I'm not even gonna want to do either. We're going to do premarital education classes together so that we know for sure of the roles, rights, and responsibilities that we have towards one another and over one another. Or we are definitely going to do premarital counseling, inshallah. So those things will be, and I would say next. And then after that, finding out the compatibility. For those of you who've been following, for those of you who have known me for a while, try not to say words we ain't supposed to say. For those of you who've known me for a while, Baba Ali and the way in which he goes about creating activities for potential spouses to get to know one another, to find out whether or not they're compatible. It works. His method works. He's been doing the same thing for more than 20 years, starting with his own self. This man, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barak, he's been married for more than 20 years, right? And so he modeled halfhourdeen.com live events after how he went about finding his wife. And so not only, this man's got other receipts. What I mean by that, many have come away from his events having found their spouse, having found the person they're the most compatible with. Not only are they getting married, but they're staying married. Okay. So, yeah. So, sisters, again, you are welcome to join me inside of Clubhouse. If there's anything that you would like to say, to share, as it relates to this conversation, for those of you that are here already, feel free to raise your hand and I will bring you up, inshallah. What I'd like to do, since a number of you all have joined in the conversation, I want to play the clip again. Maybe that will prompt some of you all to participate in the conversation, inshallah. Okay, so Bismillah. Shoot, I hate when that happens. Let me get back to the where I have the clip. Just bear with me again, because it had already started, unfortunately, and I wanted it to start from the beginning. So it just did its own thing. What's going on with the sound? There we go.
I'm already praying that the Lord would soften my heart to make.
Oh, go back. No. It starts out.
And I'm already praying that the Lord would.
Bismillah.
I've been praying for my son's wife since they were little. I have journal entries from when they were 3 and 4. Lord, wherever his wife is, if she's probably born by now, 6, 7, she's probably here. So Lord, give her parents wisdom. Would you help her to put a hedge of protection around her? Father, prepare her mind and heart for my son and my son for her. I've been praying for her. So when she arrives, I'm hoping I recognize her.
Wow.
Right? Because she's been on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that there is a supernatural tethering of our souls that I can't create.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already praying that the Lord would soften my heart to make space and to fall back in the way my mother-in-law did, so me and Jerry could be me and Jerry.
Yeah.
But it is a matter of prayer, because that prickliness you're describing, that feeling of she gonna be in my space. She gonna be all up on my son. She don't even know him like that.
Wow.
I'm hoping and I said this to my niece who just got married. I said that to me, one of the biggest gifts you can give to your new mother-in-law is not in manufactured ways, but when there are natural ways for you to show that you do not either know the dynamic of marriage or of her son like she does. Meaning, if he's maybe sad or something, ask her, how do you deal with when he's sad? Is there anything I could do to cheer him? What is his favorite food? Can you show me how to make it? That will endear your heart to her because it shows that you respect the fact that she has given her whole life to this kid and knows him better than you do. So when you come in with that arrogance, like I got it, you just got here. You just met him a year ago. Y'all just started marriage. You don't know nothing. Right? So I'm hoping there's a sweetness to this young woman and that she would recognize I actually can help you.
Yeah.
I'm not against you. I'm with you. So what do you want to know about Jackson, about JC, about Jude?
That's good.
I think that will help the process some, but I am praying that my heart will be tenderized and prepared for.
There we go. Okay. So any sisters that want to come on stage, feel free to raise your hand and I will bring you up. If you would like to share your thoughts about the clip. Again, it's just a prompt. We don't support or believe everything that has been said. Obviously, she's a Christian woman. She made reference to Father as opposed to God, the Creator. So we don't support that. We're just here for the rest of it. When we think about getting married and having children, it begins with dua, and then wanting the best for ourselves and our children, and any children that come from that marriage. And so what that also looks like is we have the best of companions, the best of friendships, that we're already possibly thinking about the children that we have, that they grow up together, they have some familiarity with one another, that inshallah they will want to marry one another, when the time comes, not that we're arranging anything, because we don't do that. That's not our way. Even though there are some and many who do participate in arranged marriages, they wind up staying married longer than everybody else. But nonetheless, the children have rights, and they have the right to see who their potential spouse is, to get to know them. We don't, we hear about, I've seen many a TikTok where a man thinks he's marrying a beautiful woman, and after they've consummated or before consummation, she's taken everything off, the fake hair, the fake lashes, the makeup, and they've been deceived. She's not beautiful to him at all. And so they wind up getting divorced. And that's no different than Zainab, radiallahu anha, who requested a divorce as well, when she did not like the appearance of who she was going to marry, or that she was married to, right? And it was granted. So these are things that we need to know beforehand, because we spend too much time and money on the wedding day, and not enough time and money into preparing for marriage, into the marriage, right? And so the mother-daughter-in-law relationship can be beautiful, if both want and aspire, for righteousness and goodness, towards one another, and respect, and it's like what she said, you as the bride cannot, I rejected the marriage proposal, but regret it. Can I reproach the sky? I wouldn't approach him directly. You might have missed when I talked about the wali. I hope you have a wali. Go through your wali and you know, um, have him to, see if there's, if the brother's even interested, and or willing, to, look into it again. You know, that would be my nasiha. The sister asked that she or said that she rejected a marriage proposal but regrets it. Can I reapproach the guy? So I would never encourage any sister to approach any man. She should have her wali to do that, inshallah. Um, any other sisters that have some words of wisdom that you would like to impart, as it relates to the mother-daughter relationship? There are some situations, looking at my deceased mother and I and our relationship, we got along so well. And it was even said to, I'm trying to remember, did she say it to me or she said, either she said it to me, I can't remember. If she said it to me or she had said it to my ex, or she said it to both of us, that I was the daughter that she never had. So I took that to mean, that was a good thing. Inshallah. We called each other often. And, for the brief, I think Allah blessed us to only have about a year with one another before she passed. Qadar ma shafa'at. I think it might have been right at a year or less, just less than a year, under a year. Qadar ma shafa'at. And she was upset that she didn't know about me sooner than we had opportunity to meet. But Qadar ma shafa'at, nothing we can do about that. But anyone else, any sisters that has anything that they would like to share, or any nasiha as it relates to the relationship of the mother and daughter-in-law? We have to make sure that each knows, their place and the rights that they have upon one another, that, you can't infringe. The mother can't infringe into the marriage, and nor can or should the daughter go to the mother about, what may be going on. Again, referring to Quran, we are supposed to, if things get escalated and out of control, we are supposed to have members from each of our families, have a shura with, the family members, the wali, even, and if the wali wasn't the one who provided the premarital counseling, whomever that person was, perhaps, so that, the matter can be discussed amicably, inshallah, and a solution can come about, a good solution, inshallah. So it's not a matter of people being in your business, okay? That's not it at all. Inshallah, should be that, wanting for your brother and or sister what you want for yourself, and so just as you want a good marriage, we want our children to have good marriages as well. And what else I did want to say was, perhaps, our children, they want to marry and they're marrying young. They want to marry young, and that's fine. Maybe they haven't, completely saved up enough money that they can get their own place. We should make them feel comfortable enough that they can stay with us, until, they can afford their own place. Give them, like, if you have a basement, and it's fixed up, give them that whole space, right? But if the house isn't that big, obviously, they would have their own room. And then, you all would discuss, especially if there are other of the children there, especially the male children, because the daughter-in-law would have to be completely covered if there are other male siblings of his that live in the house too. So, discuss, what the rules will be for how to move about, and make it, so everybody's comfortable, inshallah. So I do see several have joined. I think that, I guess that's YouTube. I'm not sure. Or LinkedIn. I'm not sure. And then we got somebody that came on. I don't know if it's the same person that's been here on Facebook. And then, of course, we've got TikTok as well. So there's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, and Clubhouse. Alhamdulillah. Um, and so while I'm here, I also always ask of you all that if there are topics you feel that we need to discuss, that you share them. Feel free to share them, so that inshallah they can become future conversations. Um, if there are those sisters that as it relates to our Muslim Women Wednesday, that could lead a good conversation, I definitely want to know who she is. And please let her know about me. There's plenty of previous conversations that we've had on replay inside of Clubhouse, and there's been some that I've had the pleasure of, on the other platforms as well. But for sure, the full conversation has always been on Clubhouse whenever there's been something recorded. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. And also, we're usually on this particular account, Radia's Real Talk, on Sundays as well. And that's the time in which we as community members, we come together. I share a topic or a clip or book or a conversation on that day. And, we come together to listen to it, to discuss it, to share our concerns and things of this nature. And so, if there's a topic that you feel that we need to discuss, in terms of what's going on in the community, please let me know. And I will, inshallah, put it on the calendar. And so if you all are not members of Clubhouse and you want to know, upcoming rooms and the topics and reserve it, save it like an appointment so that, you're aware and you remember and you're reminded, it's best to, be inside of Clubhouse for that. So, and that house again is taking 5 before 5. And so right now I don't have anything there, but with something that just recently happened, and some of you all may have seen my post, we're going to talk about that on Sunday, inshallah. I didn't get to have a room. There was a lot of things going on. I couldn't do a room on this past Sunday, but inshallah, my intentions are, and I pray Allah I'm able to do a conversation. Thank you so much, about one of the things that I just posted in my stories, and I'll just let you all look at that. I don't want to say it, and I'll just leave it for, I'll go ahead and put it into the calendar so that you all can, like I said, like make an appointment, set it as a reminder in your phones for when we have that conversation. So, yeah. So I will play the clip one last time to see if anybody has anything they would like to share about the information that's being presented. Other than that, or otherwise, we will just conclude the session for today, and look forward to seeing you on one of my other channels. I will probably be on, for sure, Pad Specialist go live once, if not twice, later on today, because I haven't been live on there in a couple of days. And so, I'm trying. I'm trying. I got to work with other people, unfortunately. So that's why I can't, definitively say when I'll be on that account. The same with Muslim Income Strategist. But usually in that one, I'm on there on Saturdays for sure, and some Thursdays as well. I usually, flip flop those, but I'm going to try to establish consistency on being there on both of those days, just having different topics. So let me play the clip. Bismillah. Hopefully this thing won't act right. Act up. Bismillah. Oh, come on. No, it did it. I don't like when it does that. Just bear with me here. We're going to try this one last time. This will be the last time I run the clip, inshallah. So if there's others that you know that are married or looking to get married, get them into here. Share the link with them. You can do that one of two ways, tapping the screen several times, or the old fashioned way, that arrow at the bottom of the screen, share that to your social media, inshallah. Okay, bismillah. Here we go. Oh, goodness, come on. Let's see. Act right. Come on now. Oh, this thing gets on my nerves. Let's see. Bismillah. Come on. Here we go. Bismillah.
We're little. Like I have journal
Let me
entries.
stop. Oh, no. Oh. This is the test. It truly is.
I've
Bismillah.
been praying for my son's wife since they were little. Like I have journal entries from when they were 3 and 4. Lord, wherever his wife is, if she's probably born by now, 6, 7, she's probably here. So Lord, give her parents wisdom. Would you help her to put a hedge of protection around her? Father, prepare her mind and heart for my son and my son for her. Like I've been praying for her. So when she arrives, I'm hoping I recognize her.
Wow.
Right? Because she's been on my mind. And I'm hoping that there is a supernatural tethering of our souls that I can't create. And I'm already praying that the Lord would soften my heart to make space and to fall back in the way my mother-in-law did. So me and Jerry could be me and Jerry.
Yeah.
But it is a matter of prayer, because that prickliness you're describing, that feeling of like, oh, she gonna be in my space. She gonna be all up on my son. She don't even know him like that.
Wow.
I'm hoping, and I said this to my niece who just got married. I said, to me, one of the biggest gifts you can give to your new mother-in-law is not in manufactured ways, but when there are natural ways for you to show that you do not either know the dynamic of marriage or of her son like she does. Meaning, if he's maybe sad or something, ask her, how do you deal with when he's sad? Is there anything I could do to cheer him? What is his favorite food? Can you show me how to make it? That will endear your heart to her, because it shows that you respect the fact that she has given her whole life to this kid and knows him better than you do. So when you come in with that arrogance, like I got it, you just got here. You just met him a year ago. Y'all just started marriage. You don't know nothing. So I'm hoping there's a sweetness to this young woman, and that she would recognize, I actually can help you.
Yeah.
I'm not against you. I'm with you. So what do you want to know about Jackson, about JC, about Jude?
That's good.
I think that will help the process some, but I am praying that my heart will be tenderized and prepared for. I've been praying for myself.
Okay. There we go. So I don't know if you want to come inside of Clubhouse, but I put the link inside of Clubhouse. I had been having difficulty doing that. Normally I do that, for those that might want to grab it and, repurpose it or re-listen to it, without having to listen to the whole room, the replay. But it is, actually, it doesn't even say what it's called. It's on the channel on Instagram with the Perrys. But I have the link pinned inside of Clubhouse, the house taking care of 5 before 5. That's where I have it, inshallah. So I don't have a way that I know of without maybe accidentally ending this room, this live, to pin it in here. Right? Yes. So for those that will listen to this replay later on Clubhouse, Hala says those words are incredible. Her faith is so beautiful, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So what I was saying, well, let me say this: for any of you sisters that would like to be able to be audible, I would like for you to come inside of Clubhouse for that. I have my reasons. Many people who are unfamiliar with me, who are ignorant or trolls, they want to be disrespectful. And so I feel safer inside of Clubhouse, because I know how to handle things inside of Clubhouse. And, not that I don't hear, I basically just block people, but um, I'm just not as comfortable. So, but if you want to come inside of Clubhouse, taking care of 5 before 5, you are more than welcome. If there's something that you would like to contribute, sisters, men, you're allowed in there as well, but you can't speak, just like you can't speak here. So, any other, for those of you who've been married before, what has been your relationship with your mother-in-law, or sisters, who have had, sons marry marry a young sister or a sister. What has been your relationship with your daughter-in-law? Okay. Um, feel free to share any of that, any nasiha, any advice that you have would be greatly appreciated. So in the beginning of the conversation, I was, just like what she was saying, it begins with prayer. She was saying she remembers doing this as young as 3 and 4. Well, for us as Muslims, it starts even before then, by making sure we are selecting the best spouse. Because why? Be careful where you plant your seed, otherwise there will be corruption on the earth. For that reason alone, you know, and we are following the blueprint of, how to go about getting married, from the Quran and authentic Sunnah. Thank you so much. And having a wali, a male representative that is Muslim. Okay. And, for those who have male relatives that are Muslim, I mean, that aren't Muslim, they can be, they're encouraged to be a part of the team, and to work closely with your wali. But it is your wali who says yay or nay, as to, whether or not he will approve of this brother, allow him the opportunity to vet, you know, this brother, you may have been interested in him, or you found him online, or you saw him at the store, or, or he's a friend of a friend, or, you know, so even if that's the case, then, if he, uh, ask for the name and number of your wali, give it to him. Don't engage, give it to him and be done with it. Okay. Or if, he doesn't ask, there are some brothers that don't know, the etiquette, give him, Wali's number, be done with it. Don't you get his number. Don't you give him your number. It's all about the wali, all about the wali. And even if in the event, he's passed the test of, the vetting process, you want premarital education, you want premarital counseling. Okay. The least of the two, if you had to choose one or the other, premarital counseling for sure, hands down. I wouldn't have it any other way. Now, as I have my own children, and inshallah, one day they're going to look to get married. And I've said this to them. Now, whether or not they do it, that's on them. But, this to me is one way of being able to find whether or not you're compatible with one another. This is one of the things that you can do to find out the compatibility. This is where the rubber meets the road. You get to find out, intricate details, right? Um, his personality type, like what she mentioned about his favorite foods, how he is, you know, these are things, that we have in place, and we need to use them. We need to remember that Allah said not to go near zina. He didn't say don't commit zina. He said don't go near it. So if you're not going near it, you're not going to commit it. Okay. And so I'm also saying and encouraging and reminding, you know, maybe you want to have a conversation with the brother. Make sure that Wali's there too. Make sure he's there. And sister, stop making your son just, oh, I can't wait till he becomes a man so he can be my Wali. Okay, he's 15. Yes, he is your Wali. But he is not, don't use him to help you find and marry someone. Why? I don't know any sister who has done that, had their son to act as their wali, and they marry a brother that it ended well. Why? Because your son doesn't, he's still wet behind the ears. He doesn't know anything. A man who knows how to run game, he can run circles around him. He can tell him whatever he wants him to know, right? So this wali, he has to be Muslim. He has to be having had some life experience. He has to have had some experience with marriage, even if not already married. Okay. And in terms of, this is another mistake I see some sisters making, having direct communication with their wali. No, no. Always make sure that you're covered. Make sure he's covered. So if in the event and he is married, you want any communication you have, you go through the wife, or you make sure it, like if it's a chat of some sort or what have you, group chat that you have, it includes her. It includes her. And I would run away from a brother that, if he's married and he doesn't include his wife, even if she's just listening, to make sure that neither of you all are speaking to one another inappropriately. And when we do this sets up, a safety net for us both, a protection for us both, so that, because how many times have we heard about brothers, who have been compromised, meaning they started developing feelings for the sisters that they're in charge of and wind up marrying her. This is to protect you from that. Okay. So, that's all I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you so much for that acknowledgement. Certain words we got to stay away from, so that we can be in good standing with TikTok. So thank you so much for that. I am trying to grow this account so that I can have a TikTok shop, as well as, inshallah, to be able to be in the position of having 10K members. I'm going to use that word, so that TikTok can pay me. So, we now know, alhamdulillah, who our president is, and hopefully we won't lose TikTok here in America, or access, to the use of it, or getting paid from it, because, we know Trump has always been about business and money. So, inshallah, we'll get to keep TikTok. For those of you that have been wanting to get a TikTok shop, or, to get to 10K as well, I pray Allah we can relax on not knowing, what's going to happen with it. I think, I guess, as long as he's able to use social media, he'll be okay with us using it too, inshallah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share. And I'm going to get off here, inshallah. And I want to thank you all so much for joining again. If you have topics for us for Muslim Women Wednesday, or for the community, hey, thank you so much for joining, David. Didn't give shout outs of names. Some of you all don't, you're hiding behind user, and I'm fine. How are you? Thank you so much for asking. And things of this nature. So I hadn't, said any names because good, alhamdulillah. Many of us, we don't use our real names, where we have a business name, or, other names, what have you. So, but I wanted to make sure that, we were able to cover the topic for today. And alhamdulillah, we did that. I didn't get to get, any participation as it relates to sisters joining me on stage so that they can give their viewpoints, nor did anybody bother to make any comments inside of the chat. But there was a little bit of engagement here on TikTok, alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for that. And remember, for any posts that you see that I have, the rules of engagement are: start from the bottom up. You are first making sure that you are FOLLOWING me, this account. You're doing that. That's first and foremost. The second thing that you want to make sure that you're doing is you're letting that video play all the way through. And even if, because some of you all who know me, I can get long-winded, So what you want to do is you want to hold the screen, tap the screen, and it will go 2 times this faster. You'll still be able to understand what's being said, but it'll go faster for you. Or you can, tap it, and then a screen will come up, and then you look to your right, and it'll say playback speed or play speed or whatever it says, something about the speed. So you want to choose 1.5 or 2, so that you don't have to hold your hand. Have to always have the phone in your hand. You could just let it play. And then from there, we need you to click the link, whether you send it to someone or you don't, but definitely click that link. And then also, we want you to repost it. We want you to save it to your favorites. And we want you to comment 5 words or more, no emojis, 5 words or more. After that, we want you, as it relates to liking it, we don't want you to give us 1 heart. We want you to do like this, several hearts. All of those things, help for that content to go to other people's For You page. Okay. So just wanted to share that. I thank you all so much for joining, and thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I look forward to, more conversations with you all, inshallah, bi'ithnillah. I am going to go ahead and upload or save the conversation I would like for us to have on Sunday in the calendar, and I'll create it on TikTok also, but I'll be creating it inside of Clubhouse first and foremost. And then this way you can come there, and now what you'll have to do on here is you'll register, which, you'll do here is RSVP, and then it'll allow you to save it to your calendar, to remind yourself of the day it happens. And you can set, how far in advance, if you want it 5 more minutes before we start, or an hour or 2, or, half hour, however you want to do it, inshallah. So I will go ahead and close. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minadh dhalimin. Ameen. I want to thank you again so much for joining. As I always say, be resilient, inshallah. Have a good rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, or morning, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you on one of the other channels that I have. For those of you that may be following those, that is Pad Specialist, Multiple Income Stream Strategist. Those are the other 2 accounts that I have that Allah has blessed me to be able to go live on. And so you're more than welcome to follow those accounts. I have more than that, but those are the ones that I will actually go live in, and that we're trying to make sure all of them have TikTok shops, and to grow the account to 10K, inshallah, bismillah. Pad Specialist already has a TikTok shop, alhamdulillah, Allahumma barak, so feel free to patronize my shop there, inshallah. And for those of you who don't do TikTok, you prefer other ones, click the link in the bio and you'll find the other ways in which you can patronize me, inshallah. All righty. Thank you again for joining, and have a good day, inshallah.